Near 80 degrees. This is the historic Coliseum in Los Angeles, California. A sellout of over 90,000 fans to see the final piece of this weekend's playoff puzzle. Will it be the Raiders or the Bengals to advance to the Super Bowl semifinals? Welcome to Los Angeles. Dick Enberg with Bill Walsh as the Raiders, a touchdown favorite, meet the Bengals, the champions of the Central Division. Now, the history of this weekend shows home teams all won, and all won by sizable margins, 10 points or more. We know it'll be the Giants in San Francisco, and Buffalo awaits the winner of this one today. And Sam Weiss is working with less cards than is his opponent, Art Shell. And no better is that symbolized by Kirk Scrafford, number 76. He is a rookie free agent playing his first game as a starter for the Cincinnati Bengals. We talked to him yesterday, wide-eyed, nervous. He replaces All-Pro Anthony Munoz at tackle in a banged-up offensive line. And for most of this day, he'll play against Greg Townsend, number 93, the experienced, tough sackmaster of the Raiders on his way to the Pro Bowl. And that is one of the many reasons why the Raiders are favored, and the Bengals will have to come up with some of Weitz's magic in order to pull off an upset today. The Bengals won the toss, will receive. Jeff Jaeger to kick it off. Stanford Jennings, number 36, and 42, Eric Ball are deep for Cincinnati. We're underway on an 80-degree clear sky day in Los Angeles, and Jaeger booms it to Ball, and the touchback at the 20. Norman Boomer Esiason, the quarterback of the Bengals. Their hopes for an upset win rest on his left arm. It's Scrafford and Moyer in the rebuilt offensive line. Kuzerski, he's banged up at center. Jeton and Walter on the right side. The backfield, Ickey Woods will start today. McGee and Eddie Brown, two excellent wide receivers. Jim Riggs, the tight end, along with Rodney Holman, with using only one back to start. And that sugar huddle or no huddle employed by the Bengals.
Look for a pass on the first play of the game.
And that's what Greg Townsend was looking for as he beats Scrafford and registers the sack.
Sam Weiss wanted to start the game, open it right up, and he just couldn't get the ball off. It's that simple. Now you'll see the offensive tackle here in the pass rush that's going to get there, and this is the most difficult job for a young guy in his first play. He opens up too wide and leaves that hole inside. But again, Howie Long, as you'd expect, starts it all off.
A loss of 13 on the first play, and here's Ickey Woods slamming across the 15 for short yardage, smothered by Tom Benson and company. Eddie Anderson up from safety to get his shoulder on the ball carrier. For the Raiders, that front four may be as good as any in the NFL, and it means they don't have to use a lot of linebacker blitzes because Long, Golick, Davis, and Townsend apply so much pressure themselves. It's Robinson, Ellison, and Benson, the backers. McDaniel, underrated, outstanding at one corner. Washington has a hamstring at the other. Harden and Anderson, two tough safeties. The Bengals feel if they can attack anywhere, it's at those two safeties who react to the run so quickly. Flag down on 3rd and 14.
Well, this is just what Sam Weiss didn't want.
73 offense. Third down. Ken Moyer moved prematurely.
Now, Moyer is another free agent at left guard who has played every position, but not, you see him lift his hand, not many of those positions well. He's a good journeyman, free agent lineman, but now he's up against, as Dick was just mentioned, four of the best defensive linemen in the game. Sam didn't want this. He didn't want to get backed up, but didn't want to get in a position where those Raiders could tee off.
Not many good plays in this situation as Boomer throwing from his 3-yard line. Down he goes as Howie Long smothers him at the 2. The veteran Long with 6 sacks on the year, but he creates so much more for his teammates.
Here's Long, and you'll see that push right up inside. But one of the problems, Boomer waited way too long to throw the ball. He's got decent protection at this point. Now, when he pulls up to make Davis miss, he gets caught by Long. Big problem. All 4 defensive linemen are getting pushed. so Boomer is going to have to get rid of the ball sooner.
Tim Brown expects to get the ball in Bengal territory. He's inside the 45 as Lee Johnson left foots it out of there. Brown has admitted having trouble fielding the left-footed punt and watches it go out of bounds at the 45 in Bengal territory. For Los Angeles, after the 43-yard punt by Johnson, under the circumstances, a good kick. It's Graves, Pro Bowlers Wisniewski and Mosbar in the middle with Montoya, the ex-Bengal. He's an alternate for the Pro Bowl and right at tackle. Schrader, the starting quarterback. Marcus Allen has started every game this year. We'll see Bo Jackson early. Steve Smith, the blocking fullback. Galt and Fernandez with Horton, the tight end. When they go to the Eagle, Mike Dial comes in as the second tight end. He was just activated this week, missed the second half of the year with a hamstring. From the 45 in Cincinnati territory, Schrader. Play action on first play. Plenty of time, wide open but incomplete. Mervin Fernandez all alone, and Schrader overshot him.
Good call on the first play. The scary thing for the Bengals was Schrader had all day. Fernandez went from the right side of the field all the way to the left side of the field, 20 yards deep. It had to take him 4 or 5 seconds to get there, and Schrader still had the time to throw it. The wind has just come up in the last 30 minutes, and the wind actually carried that ball out of Fernandez's reach.
Gusting 15 to 20 miles an hour from the north-northwest. On 2nd and 10, the give is to the fullback, Steve Smith, former Penn State star, bowls to the 40, and the ball is twisted away after the whistle. Carl Zander led the defensive charge, and Smith was juggling the ball, trying to maintain the grasp.
The Raider offensive line gets Smith the first 4 yards. You see, he's not touched until he makes 4 yards. Now he starts to lose it, and the whistle blows just about the time he loses it. One of the problems, right, it seems that the whistle is blowing right at this point, but Smith got 4 yards before he was touched, and he ran off tackle.
Three wide receivers. Weston Brown joins Galt and Fernandez. Schrader changing the play with Marcus Allen behind him. It's Marcus off tackle, and he fights for the extra yardage and will be very close to the first down. The Bengals had him stopped 2 yards shy, but Allen, typical of his great play throughout his now 9 years with the Raiders, got extra yardage. Crumry was there to make the stop. It's short by inches, and the fans here in Los Angeles want Shell to go for it.
You'd have to think he'll go for it here, Dick, because he's in sort of an odd position. Punting the ball wouldn't be that would be a tough job to punt the ball inside the 10 from here, and the field goal's too long. So you have to assume he's going for it.
And they have a much bigger offensive line than the Bengals throw up in support defensively. It's a light, aggressive, quick Cincinnati defense. Allen, first down as he picks up 2 to the 33.
Kevin Walker blitzed, had a great shot at Allen. Allen has an instinct to just slide laterally and make people cleanly miss him because he was duck soup back there. He was going to get stopped. Kevin Walker was teeing off on him, and he just slid by him beautifully. Watch, right at the end of this, Allen is in trouble. Watch Walker come right through and just miss. And Allen has that instinct of seeing that with all that experience and just veering slightly.
Marcus Allen, number 8 all-time NFL. He has 93 touchdowns. Raiders first possession. First down at the 33. Marcus knifing inside the 30. A gain of about 4. Carl Zander, the tackler.
Well, typically for the Bengals, unfortunately, they rank 25th in defense this year. One of their problems is stopping the 3 and 4 and 5 yard gain. They just can't meet blockers well enough to stuff plays. So they're always coming off a block to make a tackle, and meanwhile giving up the first 4 and 5 yards.
You saw the defensive coordinator, former star Lion defensive back Dick LeBeau on the sidelines. On second down, Marcus goes the other way. And a good play made by David Grant from West Virginia, as some of his teammates mentioned to us this week. Boy, Grant suddenly has come alive. The last 6-7 games he has played very big.
Well, Grant and McClendon, the two defensive ends, are good, solid, legitimate NFL players. And Crumry, as you know, Dick, has been a great one prior to that breaking of his leg in Super Bowl 23. But the three of them play well, but they don't play so big that they can stuff plays. They can get off blocks, but they can't dominate and stuff plays as that Raider defensive line can do.
Bengals look pass on third down and a long three. But it's on the ground to Marcus. Tripped up, and he's going to be a little short of the first down. Skip McClendon down low, the 6'7", 287-pound tackle. Hartzell has another fourth down decision.
He can go for it. He can make it because the Bengals have not stopped to play at the line of scrimmage yet. They have not stuffed a ball carrier, so they can make it if they choose.
Sam White brings in 4 new defenders, and Schrader looks at 4th and 1. This is a little longer than the 4th and inches earlier on this drive. Smith and Marcus behind Schrader. Schrader, play action. Incomplete. Solomon Wilcox with a fine play, number 41, diving in front of Ethan Horton, and the Bengals celebrate as they hold.
Raiders were a little bit greedy. A play fake to the inside. Not too many people full, but you see the coverage is right on top of the play.
So the Raiders do not take the 41-yard field goal shot.
Well, it's unbelievable, and what a great thing for the city of Los Angeles.
Esiason having trouble initially and then throws the long out for really no gain as it's completed on the far side lines to Tim McGee.
Tim McGee, the receiver.
Bad snap, or at least a bad catch by Esiason. Oh, bad snap.
Oh, gee.
He's a hockey fan. That was a good save for the Boomer.
Well, that was all Bob Doley. He intimidated Kozerski, and Esiason getting back on that first down. It shows a real concern on the part of the Bengals just to be able to get the ball off with that Raider pass rush.
Eddie Brown in motion. And it's James Brooks playing with that dislocated left thumb to across the 25 to the 26, and that's a story in itself. You talk about tough. James Brooks last week came up. There it is, the dislocated left thumb, went into the locker room, taped it up, and said, I was coming back to play, when the doctors interrupted and said, you cannot play. You're out. Had surgery right after the game. There is the bandage that protects that left thumb. And he said, I'm not about to sit this one out. I can play. I can catch the ball. I'll block. I'll take my chances.
He's a real campaigner. Even in his practice yesterday, he was just nonchalant about the whole thing.
Gained over 1,000 yards this year. He felt he should go to the Pro Bowl, not Bo Jackson. On third down and 7. Underneath to Ickey Woods, short of a first down. At the 31-yard line, he's shy a couple of a first down.
Well, Tex Strafford did his job that time. He did a fine job of pass protecting from the left tackle spot, and he stayed with his man. I think he learned something on the first play. He's got an excellent guy in front of him, but he used his feet. He does have quick feet, but he's only 257 pounds. And that time, Scott Davis at about 280 thought he could just steamroll him.
Lee Johnson to punt. Tim Brown at the other end. A dying spiral at the 22. 30. Tripped up at the 39-yard line by Carl Zander. Now the Raiders not in as good a position as their previous possession. No score in the first.
At the 39-yard line, 1st and 10 Raiders.
Biggest crowd of the NFL year here at the Coliseum for this playoff that features the Central Division champion Bengals and the champions of the West, the LA Raiders. The New York Giants beat the Bears 31-3 earlier today to advance to their semifinal meeting with the 49ers next Sunday. The winner of this game goes on to Buffalo next Sunday.
Bo Jackson
incomplete as Schrader fires to Willie Golden. He is toppled by Lewis Billups.
Bo Jackson lined it up as a wingback that time and released straight down the field. I believe the thought was that the Bengals would be so preoccupied that they could throw just a little quick pass. Here will be Bo, and he'll release straight down the field. Then they want to throw a quick hitch pass, but it's so tightly covered, there just isn't anything there. Very well done, and thrown late also. Now, Schrader's had much improvement.
But he starts slowly today, 0 for 3, as he did against the Chargers in the season finale. Here's Bo's first carry. He fumbles, and the Bengals recover. Number 27, Barney Bussey, falls on the loose ball as Jackson coughs it up.
This is what the Bengals had hoped for, and anyone that favors the Bengals or follow them know they needed these kinds of things to happen. And thus far, though, they're going to have to find a way to move the ball because they've gotten 0. They really haven't blocked anybody yet.
Oh, now they're saying that he was down by contact. The whistle has blown, and he is clearly had fumbled the ball.
The ball is out. It couldn't have blown. The ball could not have, the whistle could not have blown that quickly. There's not a chance of that.
Well, you know, Sam White said there's only one referee that worried me this season long, and I wasn't happy with it. He said, you know, it's interesting. He's the man that was assigned.
There's not a chance that whistle had blown.
Clearly a fumble, and they won't review it because the whistle had blown. So what a break for the Raiders. Horton catches the pass. Instead of the Bengals getting the ball on a bad official's call, a clear fumble that was whistled dead before the play had ended. How could the whistle have blown?
There isn't a chance. Not a chance the whistle blew. The ball, he's still in, the ball's in the air, and he's not even starting down. No one blows a whistle that quickly. Even the high school, the Pop Warner official doesn't do that.
Fans up in Seattle say, boy, the Raiders have had good officials luck all season long. There was a critical call up there in the Kingdom that may have cost the Seahawks a game. Those fans will well remember. It's first down now at the Cincinnati 47. Play action. Schrader hit from behind, and down he goes. David Grant, number 98, was in on the quarterback and drops him back at the Raider 48.
The Bengals are giving us a number of fronts, different kinds of fronts, that really give problems. Now look at the outside people here coming hard, and inside the pass protection will hold up long enough, but the problem is Jay is taking too long to throw the ball. It's that simple. So they're going to have to be much more conservative in their pass protection scheme. That's twice now that Schrader has been chased around or sacked.
Give is to Bo Jackson, so instead of a pass on second and long, they go to the run, and David Grant there again, the 278-pounder from West Virginia, and their top rookie linebacker, 50, James Francis, in on the play as well.
Grant's going to chase the ball from behind and catch it as these guards pull. This is the kind of thing where you need a better seal block by Rory Graves on the backside. You see Grant come right down the line of scrimmage. Now that's the job of Rory Graves, the left tackle, to get underneath Grant and get his legs out from under him. The Bengals are playing quick and they're aggressive. Quick and aggressive. The Raiders just aren't ready for this.
On 3rd and 15, Schrader gets out of the trap and then is tripped up from behind at the 44-yard line. Skip McClendon, number 72. He with a height at 6'7" and long arms, just able to reach in and get Schrader from the backside.
You know, Marcus Allen, Dick, as we visited with him, said, you know, and he reminded me as a former coach, you never really know if you're ready to play. You have 2 weeks to practice. You concentrate. It can mean everything to your athletic career. Everything could be on the table, and you still can come out and be flat. And so far, the Raiders are flat.
Mitchell Price, who returned to punt 66 yards for a touchdown this year at Seattle, is the deep man. And Jeff Gossett, they run into Gossett, who comes up limping. It's a terrific-looking kick inside the 5 and down at the 3. Jeff Gossett pins the Bengals at their goal line. Timeout. AFC Coach of the Year, the Hall of Famer, told us earlier this week that he was concerned about the layoff because during the regular season, the bye occurred after a 6-1 Raiders start. They lost 3 of the next 4 after the bye week, and he tried to remind his team all week long, you've got to be more intense. You've got to raise the level of your play because as a veteran of the playoffs, Shell himself knows that it is a different season.
Well, even the coaching, they had the 4th and 1 call. They had the pass early in the first quarter. A run in that situation certainly would have made the first down.
Well, the Bengals denied the fumble recovery, start at their own 3. It's James Brooks carrying that ball in the left hand where that dislocated open injury to the thumb occurred. Eddie Anderson makes the tackle after a gain of close to 5.
Here comes their sugar huddle, as they call it, where they set up just behind the line of scrimmage and get their play started very, very quickly. And hopefully the Raiders cannot substitute that much. Now, Max Montoya is on the Raider team as an offensive guard. He was with the Bengals. And Sam White was concerned that Max would give the signals, but I don't think there was much to that.
Second down and 6. It's Brooks again, and the Raiders are ready for him. A yard, maybe two. Ricky Ellison, former 49er, in the thick of that tackle, along with Tom Benson.
Gee, this guy Brooks is some performer, though, isn't he, Dick? He is so tough. Is he a money ball player? Believe me, 185 pounds. All that stamina and longevity in the league. With that thumb, any ball carrier in the pad, anybody's handled the ball in any sport can realize just when you operate really with one hand.
And he gets better as he gets older. He's in his 10th year. He had over 1,200 yards rushing last year, over 1,000 this. Boomer protected well. Has a man, Brooks, and he's got it. First down at the 31-yard line. Brooks, injury and all, makes a fine over-the-shoulder grab. Yardage to match his number 21.
That thumb is not even a problem with this guy. Boomer gets pretty decent pass protection. A perfect pass right over the shoulder. Now that really looks like that thumb is bothering him as he comes off the field a little bit. But did the Bengals save themselves there? At this point, it's a victory for them, a moral victory. They go an entire quarter, and they haven't lost field position at this point. This is where they got the ball at the start of the game.
Final seconds of the opening quarter. See if Boomer gets a play off. Down the middle he goes, and Holman is open. He's got it at the Raider 29-yard line, and that's how the first quarter comes to an end, with Boomer Esiason and throwing to Brooks and Holman, this one for 40 yards. And with it, Cincinnati, unless there's a penalty on the play, is deep in Raider territory.
Look at Holman run a seam pattern, and Benson trying to stay with him. Benson waited too long before he got into coverage, but what poise catching that ball.
No penalty. The Bengals will start at the 29 of L.A. Coach Bill Walsh, this is Dick Enberg at the Coliseum in Los Angeles.
Don't speak to Michelle.
This is Bob Costas in New York as the Bengals go back on the attack. This is James Brooks playing with the dislocated thumb and going off the left side for a relatively short pickup. As you realize, we've lost the audio temporarily. As soon as we can work that problem out, we'll go back to Dick Enberg and Bill Walsh at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Second quarter, no score. The Raiders had an opportunity early after they pinned the Bengals back near their own goal line following a couple of sacks on the Bengals' first possession, but the Raiders couldn't cash in. And so Art Shell's team, about a touchdown favorite.
Welcome back to the Coliseum in Los Angeles. We apologize for the audio difficulties, and we must also add that they were not inspired by the Nationals' Norman Shadd. We continue with the play-by-play. On third down, it is James Brooks to the 10-yard line, shy of a first down. So this drive for the Bengals that began back at the Cincinnati 3-yard line and sparked by Brooks' 21-yard catch and Holman's 40-yard reception and 11-yard run by Ickey Woods has placed the Bengals within Jim Breach's field goal reach.
At this point in the game, the play calling by Sam Weich and the execution of specialized plays for the Raiders has been beautiful. One of the problems will be those kinds of plays can't be used over and over. But the seam pass down the middle to Holman, beautifully executed. Brooks' run, the good run, perfectly executed plays.
And a 27-yard field goal by Breach is good. Little Jim Breach, the 5'6", 12-year veteran from California, knocks home the first points of the game. Sam Weiss, the head coach of the Bengals, the winningest coach now in Cincinnati history, with his victory last Sunday against Houston, now has 61. To pass the master himself, Paul Brown. 3-0 Bengals in the second quarter. 12 minutes to go before the half, and a long, high kick deep into the end zone to Ron Brown as Lee Johnson. That has been his strength all season long. 32 times in 60 kickoffs, Johnson has kicked it in the end zone.
A beautiful play. The Bengals will put a man in motion to the outside, and Eddie Anderson will drift over to account for that. Meanwhile, Harden, the safety, will come up in the zone defense, and then you'll see Holman splitting right down the seam and no one there to handle it. You'll see Benson try to stay with it, but you see number 33 to the far side of the field, beautifully executed. Sam Weiss controlled both safeties and got Holman on a linebacker.
And that 40-yard gain set up the Jim Breach field goal and a 3-0 Cincinnati lead. From the 20, Slater to Bowe. Breaks into the clear for a moment and picks up 9, and that had some of the crowd starting to raise out of the seats.
Kevin Walker had a tackle to make all by himself. If he doesn't make this tackle, nobody's going to. And you'll see Bowe coming with the right guard and right tackle pulling. Wright makes a beautiful block there, but you see the clean, sharp tackle by Kevin Walker that really saves another one of those 70 or 80-yard plays.
9 yards for Jackson, 2nd and 1. Bowe again. Breaking freely to the 37, 38, 9 more. Walker again, the tackler.
Well, this is the pattern we'll probably see all day because the safety men and linebackers for the Bengals are going to have to make the stops. In this particular case, you're going to see Bowe break to the outside and the tackle being made back here all the way through from the back side of it. But the problem is you see people blocked. You see that big hole coming, and it takes the backside man to finally stop it. And you'd hate to think of a linebacker away from the play having to make the stop.
25 yards on 4 carries for Jackson. Ball at the 38. Bowe again. 50. And chopped down at the Cincy 45 by Barney Bussey.
What can you say? Now, this is where the Raiders can start taking people apart. Watch this man's block as he comes through the line. Smith comes right through, cuts his man down. Again, it's Walker with all the action. But of all the people, Steve Smith, the fullback, you see both make these plays. And Marcus, Steve Smith's one of the people on the team everyone admires and follows because his consistent performances have sprung these ball carriers.
The Royal Raider, Kansas City Royals, LA Raiders, Bo Jackson in his first professional playoff game. Now it's Marcus. All kinds of room to run. And Allen, the former Heisman winner here at Southern Cal, to the 25. So Bo goes 18, Bill, and now Allen answers with a 19-yard run.
Well, it indicates very obviously that the blocking is there for either guy. Some beautiful blocking. Steve Wright, Max Montoya do great jobs. Ethan Horton comes up the field and makes a stop. And, of course, Steve Smith, again, springs his ball carrier. And when you've got two premier running backs, everybody is just inspired to block for him. That's what you're seeing.
Allen stays in. First down at the Cincinnati 25. 14-yard line by Mervyn Fernandez.
A great sequence for the Raiders if they can get into the end zone. Beautiful block runs. Now here's Fernandez. He's going to cross all the way to the other side of the field. And Phillips isn't quite able to stay with him. Meanwhile, there's been a play fake that's held the linebacker. So beautifully executed. Now this is the Raider team we expected to see. And now they're, I think, in sync, in gear, and ready to go.
8.5 minutes remaining, second quarter. Cincinnati's lead 3-0 in jeopardy. First down, Schrader. To Galt, almost intercepted. Well played by Eric Thomas, number 22, who was not expected to even see duty this year after he had a serious knee injury playing basketball in the past offseason.
Thomas is in beautiful position inside. Now you'll see him reach right through for the ball. Beautifully done. He just cut Galt off from getting underneath him. Now watch this. Is he fired up? He knows that every one of those plays, Dick, is an accomplishment, let alone a winning game. But just to stop Galt in a situation like that.
Seventh play of this drive that started back at the Raider 20. Second down and 10. Schrader changing his play. And the toss to Marcus. Reversing and somehow managing to gain a yard out of a play that should have lost about 5. Leon White, 51, finally tracked him down.
The entire defense was predicated on the run. They're just taking chances. Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator, called a defense to stop the run. Figuring they just thrown, they're going to come back with a run, and he did. Can you believe how miraculous Marcus is? He made 3 big linemen miss him to get back to the line of scrimmage. But the Bengals are gambling, either pass or run, and they're trying to just play the game from the standpoint of strategy. They're playing for a pass right here.
Tim Brown, the motion man. Schrader guns to Fernandez. Touchdown. A 13-yard strike. As Fernandez, using that big body, 6'3" and 200, shields the defender, Carl Carter, for the score.
Again, he's going to try to get inside a defender and cross just over the goal line. Now, the pass itself was a critical one because Schrader really fired that ball in there.
Jaeger adds the extra point, an 80-yard drive and 8 well-executed plays.
Schrader has got excellent protection. Watch him really fire that ball inside for the big play. Beautiful.
And it's 7-3 Los Angeles. Raiders very impressively take the lead 7-3. Short kick by Jaeger. It goes to Eric Ball, the former UCLA Bruin, and he's to the 27-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown. Schrader to Fernandez.
Now, this is why Fernandez is considered one of the great wide receivers. He's going to be double covered and make a move and beat both safety and corner, getting underneath Carter as he does it. He had 2 people bracketing him, and he beat both of them. And, of course, the throw was perfect, and Schrader had all the time he wants. That, Dick, was the best drive I've seen the Raiders make all year. Beautifully executed, mixing run and pass.
Now the Bengals trailing 7-3, midpoint of the second period. Boomer trying to get the attention of Ball to move him over. Finally, Eric Ball hears him. Boomer, double pump to Eddie Brown, incomplete, out of bounds. And Boomer has his first incomplete pass, now 4 for 5 after he was sacked twice in the Bengals' first possession.
Brown was the alternate receiver. Boomer wanted to throw a pass in the flat, a sort of a screen pass with a tight end blocking, but instead he had to just get rid of the ball deep down the field.
James Brooks, a couple of big plays in this game, but that left thumb may be bothering him. We'll see if he returns. incomplete for short yardage to Eddie Brown, who fights to the 29. A tough 3-yard gain. Ricky Ellison, the tackler. Boomer Esiason. He did tell us that he felt this team was playing better now than at the same time in their '88 Super Bowl year.
Well, in a sense, it's going to be just sort of a hollow bravado because that other team was stronger than this one, primarily because of the injuries. But Boomer came in loose, he came in confident, and at this point he's playing beautifully.
Third down, a short 7. Incomplete and almost ricocheting to Eddie Anderson, number 33, as Tom Benson made the defensive play. Holman the target.
So far, the problem has not been Kick Stratford at left tackle because he's been blocking Scott Davis very effectively as a pass protector. Doing very, very well. The problem right now is downfield, but you'll see Holman cutting down Townsend and then getting up as an outlet receiver. So the scheme is excellent by the Bengals. It's just a matter of firepower.
Well, Tom Benson did a great job of reading that play. Lee Johnson hits a beautiful spiral, driving Brown back to the 10-yard line. And Brown doing a good job of weaving between 3 Bengals to the 25. A 15-yard return. Timeout with 6:10 left in the half. Johnson, his long left leg, producing a 64-yarder that last punt. He had the 2 longest punts of this NFL season, 70 yards. An 18-yard official return by Tim Brown, and Schrader sets up camp for the Raiders at the 25. Leading 7-3, the toss to Marcus Allen. And a gain of almost 4. Barney Bussey up from a safety spot to make the hit.
For the viewer to watch, as you see the Raiders run the ball, note that the defensive linemen of the Bengals are getting pushed around and knocked back sideways. There are all kind of holes that are quickly filled.
Look, no huddle by Schrader and the Raiders. A little turnabout is fair play against the Bengals. And 2nd and 6. Allen. Skip McClendon got him from the backside, number 72. A gain of about 1.5 yards. There's Terry Robisky to the right of Art Shell. He's the offensive coordinator, calls in the plays, fine chess player, even trying to teach, well, his pupil of the year is Marcus Allen. Yes. What did he say? How long does it take to beat Marcus at this point?
10 to 15 minutes.
So Marcus is learning.
His usual match takes up to 2 hours, you know. Relaxed playing. Marcus comes in and leaves the room very quickly.
But learning. He bought a $700 computer chess game just so he could become better. He shows his competitive spirit in all aspects. Schrader drills the ball to Tim Brown and a first down at the 42.
This isn't overstated, but both teams are executing right up to their max potential. The Bengals playing well. Now watch Brown make a nice out move, and the ball is the critical factor here because Thomas really couldn't cover that quick out, but the throw was right on the money. Both teams are playing right up to their potential at this point in the game. Bengals playing as well as they can play and executing as well as they can, and the same with the Raiders. Now at some point, you'd have to almost assume the Raiders are going to finally overpower the Bengals, but at this point, both teams are at their best.
Again, no huddle, and it's Marcus Allen through a big hole all the way to the Cincinnati 42 before Bussey, the last Bengal left, can make the hit.
Well, leave it up to Max Montoya. He pulled and he trapped. He and Steve Wright pulled from the right side of the line and did a beautiful job of trapping to the outside. Very well executed. And here's a guy, Max Montoya, who played for the Bengals for years, was on their Super Bowl teams, and now released in a sense by the Bengals through Plan B and playing beautifully.
You know, the Bengals could use him now with all the injuries in their front wall. And a no huddle and
no pass rush.
And Mike Dial, who has been inactive for a couple of months, unable to pull that one in as he was hit by Carl Zander.
Gee, the room that Schrader had there, he had 5 yards of clearance. So he just sat there and threw the ball. Unfortunately, the pass was broken up. As Montoya has played very, very good football. Now watch, he'll pull and trap to the outside, and Wright will pull right in behind him, and a beautiful hole will open up to the inside. Here's Montoya. Excellent trap blocks right up the field. The problem with the Bengals, as we probably keep pointing out, they just can't stand up to the physical part of the game.
Allen again. Ooh, just as daylight appeared for Allen, there to make a saving tackle was Zander, with Barney Bussey supporting from the safety spot.
Well, you'll see holes open up, Dick, all day by the Raider offensive line. It'll look as though the ball carrier is going all the way, and then finally a linebacker will shoot right in and make a stop. The problem with that is that at some point, the linebackers won't be there through fatigue. But look at the difference here. What was that?
109 yards rushing,
wow.
And Marcus has 61 of them. Marcus has been a big-time playoff runner, 5.8-yard average prior to this game in playoff duty. On third down and long, Schrader goes long. Galt double teamed, and the ball just missed his grasp as Eric Thomas, 22, with help on the backside from Carl Carter.
That was a beautiful, beautiful throw by Schrader. It missed by a yard or so, but it was a most difficult throw right up over the top and to the outside. Schrader has really improved as a football player, because what he's getting done are the plays downfield that Al Davis has based the entire offense for the Raiders on.
On fourth down, it's Gossett to punt with Mitchell Price, number 32, back at the 10-yard line for Cincinnati. For the far sidelines, and it's a decent kick that'll be spotted at about the 12-yard line. Timeout with 2:29 remaining for Al Davis. Cincinnati trails 7-3, 2:29 left, first half. Esiason at the Bengal 13. Hickey Woods to the 31-yard line. So Woods finds a good hole off that left side as Scrafford and Moyer, Kozerski do a fine job. 19-yard gain.
Now that is confidence going in behind those two free agent left guard and left tackle. Do a nice job of sustaining their blocks. Now the one thing about this Scrafford, he is quick. He's got good feet. He doesn't have the bulk, but he can move and sustain a block.
And you see Anthony Munoz there, number 78, rooting for his replacement. 2-minute timeout.
We saw something that you'd never expect. Ken Moyer is blocking Davis very, very well. You'll see Scrafford come off and make a block, and a nice block here, but then the ball will break up the field. Now, two free agents that have not... There he goes to the outside, and you'll see Moyer really wall off Davis and stay with that block and just break it to the outside.
And Hickey Woods picking up 18 yards, giving the Bengals some field position, and now where Whites may have been feeling, let's get out of here, 7-3 at the half, now with 2 full minutes remaining, and his timeouts might go for something. They try the same play with Woods gaining 3 before Greg Townsend, 93. Can make the hit along with Bob Golick.
Well, it's an inspired Bengal team. They're just running off those free agents on the left side. You'd think they'd stay totally away from it, but Moyer and Kozerski and Scrafford are doing a fine job.
They give Woods 4 yards. They're also playing without that man, Bruce Reimers, 300-pound guard. So Munoz and Reimers, 2 heavyweights and bulkheads of that offensive wall for Cincinnati. Not playing today. Munoz is in uniform, could be used in an emergency. On 2nd and 6, it's Brooks. And those quick feet carry him to the 39-yard line. Scott Davis, big number 70 from Illinois, tripped him up. He's had an excellent year. 10 sacks for Davis, who is a real force, 6'7" and 280.
I think Sam White is going to try to control the ball down under a minute, then start throwing, but he doesn't want the Raiders to get it back in this half. He knows he has bad field position, so at this point, they'll, in every likelihood, begin to throw the football, but they don't want the Raiders to get it back.
They get a first down here, then they might try some passing, but he certainly conservative, unlike Weiss, playing it close. 7-3 is okay with him at this point. There's Brooks, tripped up close to a first down across the 40-yard line.
You'd assume the Raiders are going to stop the clock here themselves, and they're not going to do it.
Now the officials are going to stop it for a measurement.
It looks as though Brooks was down. But White's just going to be satisfied 7-3 because he's in the ball game.
Something else quite unusual, and I suppose when you get to the playoffs you expect the officials to swallow the whistle, but only one penalty this entire first half, a 5-yarder against the Bengals. It is shy of a first down. So on 4th down, the Bengals will apparently punt. They're not going to call time, and he wants them to start the clock again as soon as they mark the ball. No one has called timeout as yet.
I think the Raiders are going to have to get a timeout just to try to block the punt.
If no timeout is called, Cincinnati doesn't even have to punt the ball. Now they mark it, and the clock begins.
Well, Boomer may just be willing to take too much time right at the line of scrimmage. The Raiders aren't going to stop the clock.
They don't have to run a play, and this is all theater now. Boomer center stage. Play clock on the left, so you see he does not have to run a play and will not. So,
Dick, that's surprising that the tactics wouldn't be a little better than that. Why not try to block the punt? Why not try to get Brown on a big return?
obviously Sam White had worked just the way he had planned. He leaves the field at halftime, an underdog, but very much in the game. 7-3 Raiders. Blue skies and unlikely January weather greeting Cincinnati. And now with the news, the flu has also struck Cincinnati. Certainly has been an unkind week with injuries and illness, and now having to play away from home against a tough Raider team. And Bill, there was still a couple of might-have-beens in that first half, and one involved the Raiders early when they had great field position and 4th and inches.
Well, they'd gone for it on 4th and inches earlier and made it. They had another chance. They couldn't have been stopped because they were dominating the line of scrimmage. Instead, they try a play pass. Not a very good one. No fake really at all. And Schrader attempts to make a play, and the safety man is just right over there to stop it. So they cost themselves just being a little bit too greedy early. Now, you see the release by Horton up the field, and we have people all over the play. The fake itself didn't affect the play, and really it wasn't a very good call.
Had Archell gone for a field goal, it would have been a 40-yard try. So the forsaking of the field goal, they try for the touchdown, don't get the first down on that play. And then there was a play for Cincinnati that might have been when Bo Jackson fumbled, an apparent fumble, one of those inadvertent whistles here. You see Jackson clearly not down when he loses the ball.
The whistle could not have blown by then. It could not have, unless the official blew it before he was hit. And so that, in a sense, was an erroneous call that cost an underdog team like the Bengals a real opportunity.
The ball would have been at the Raider 47-yard line, and you can see in the faces of some of the Bengals, Brooks included, that they are down physically because of that flu epidemic that suddenly has struck the team. And that includes Boomer Esiason, we understand. So Sam White hoping that he can maneuver players, keep enough of them rested so that in the fourth quarter his team would be close enough to the Raiders to perhaps pull off what would have to be regarded under the circumstances as a very large upset. But the Raiders, with a 7-3 lead, will get the ball to open this second half. And that one very impressive drive that led to the touchdown, Art Shell's team using the runs of Jackson and Allen, and then the touchdown pass to Fernandez. Interesting here in perfect weather conditions, 10 points scored in the first half. They had 44 points scored in the first half in the ice and snow of Buffalo yesterday when it was 27-17 Buffalo over the Dolphins at the intermission. So how do you figure? That gusty wind condition blowing the ball off the tee for Lee Johnson, who doesn't give many opportunities for a return. One of the strongest legs of any kickoff artist in the NFL.
It seems that this wind doesn't swirl in the Coliseum, maybe because it's so large. It just simply goes from our left to right as you look at this, and it's about 12, 15 miles an hour down on the field. So whoever has that wind has a distinct advantage.
Again, just as Johnson approaching the ball, the wind blows it over. Now we understand that the winds have been measured at least somewhere in the stadium, 25 to 30 miles an hour, and that accounts for Some very long punts going left to right. Lynn James, a rookie wide receiver, now will be employed as a holder so we can get the second half started with the Raiders leading on a touchdown pass. Schrader to Fernandez that capped an 80-yard drive and breaches field goal, the only Bengals score. This one will be returnable. Ron Brown, the former Olympic sprinter and former Ram, is pinned in on the sidelines at about the 24-yard line. Carl Carter made the tackle.
Schrader has really improved. For a while, he had problems. There was a dip in the middle of the season, but the last 5, he's really come on. Just when people were concerned that he might be the difference negatively for the Raiders winning, he's come on and played as well as anybody on the team, and that in itself can catapult the Raiders into potentially the Super Bowl.
4 for 10 in the first half. 1 touchdown throw. He starts from the 23. Marcus Allen is the setback. Come out throwing the quick toss to Fernandez, thrown behind him as they work on cornerback Eric Thomas. Going back to Schrader, Bill, remember in November where Schrader went 0 for 4, did not throw a touchdown in 4 games the entire month. And we talked to Art Shell when they played in Denver, and we asked about Schrader in the call. Are you going to use someone else, and will Berline ever be in uniform? Remember how his eyes looked at us and how he really got his all-pro angry face out. The first time we'd seen it said, Schrader is my quarterback.
He is my quarterback, and the team just continued to function. And fortunately, in a sense, they didn't have to have him playing great football because a lot of other people were.
Bo Jackson has some room. One man to beat, and from behind, Kevin Walker saves another touchdown.
This is just what the Bengals wanted to avoid, and just what the Raiders were expecting sooner or later to happen. Some beautiful blocking at the line of scrimmage, and Bo is so strong physically. Those legs are so strong. Talking to Fulcher before the game, he said you can't tackle him in his legs. Look at Steve Smith kick his man out. A great job by Montoya. A beautiful job of pulling and blocking, and watch these broken tackles. So his legs and, of course, the blocking itself.
And Walker, as he made the tackle, had only the one leg to grab, and apparently Bo Jackson, shaken up a bit, has not gotten to his feet as yet. That was a 34-yard run by Jackson, who does not appear to be seriously injured and gets a big hand from this crowd. What a player.
He may have pulled a muscle as he was trying to pull away from a tackle because he really wasn't hit on the knee. Now watch Kevin Walker in the final analysis and making all kinds of plays. He's pulling on that leg, and it could be that he just pulled a muscle that Bo did trying to pull away. Bo coming right at us. He's going to try to ward off Walker, but right at this point is where he most likely pulled a muscle.
So Jackson, who has really padded his statistics against Cincinnati, last year had the longest run in the NFL, a 92-yard touchdown. This year an 88-yard run, and was tackled at the 1-yard line. And he gets a big 34-yarder here on the opening series of the second half. Now the question will be, will Bo return this week? O.J. Simpson will try to do some eavesdropping, and we'll get a report.
Well, fortunately, you have an all-pro in Marcus Allen.
Take his place from the 43 of Cincinnati. Over the middle, wide open is Allen. Breaks some tackles. And finally stumbles down inside the 20.
Marcus lined up as a wide receiver, forcing safety coverage. He'll run a slant pattern to the inside. Now, we've seen Bo do this as a wide receiver. This is the first time that he's had Marcus outside, and Bussey, who's not an excellent coverage man, tried to hang there with him. Look at Marcus' great instincts in making people miss and getting every inch that's possible out of every time he has the ball.
To work on Bo Jackson, it does appear to be the cramp or a muscle pull. That was a 25-yard reception and run for Allen to the 19 of Cincinnati. 7-3 Raiders as they drive for more to open the second half. Whoops. Looked like motion on that one, and Schrader throws to Allen. It's intercepted. This could be a live play, and then a fumble recovered by Cincinnati. Fulcher intercepted the pass, fumbled, but it was recovered by a teammate. I believe Zander, Carl Zander, or Eric Thomas got it. And the flag down will be against the Raiders.
It looks as though the ball was snapped late. It looked as though Schrader expected it earlier, and all kinds of people started moving. But then it looked as though people let up.
First down.
Like the Raiders let up all over the field. Now you'll see Schrader start to pull away, and the ball hasn't been snapped.
And now the interception by the all-pro safety man, number 33, David Fulcher. There he is, bottom of your screen. The ball just bounces to him. Fulcher in the right place at the right time. Eric Thomas was the man on the coverage. Then Fulcher fumbles, and it was recovered.
Well, these are the kinds of things that Bengals have hoped for to stay in the game. These kind of misfired plays.
And so the Bengals dodge a mighty big bullet. It appeared that the Raiders were driving for an apparent score. And here's Allen as Thomas knocks it free. It goes to Fulcher. And then Fulcher looking for room to run. Hit by Graves. And Eric Thomas recovers the ball with Zander there to secure it.
You always wonder about repeating a play like that. Allen gets the first pass because he gets Bussey out there to cover him. The second time out there, they put a corner out who's all over the pass and caused the interception. So sometimes these special plays designed to outmatch people just can't be repeated over and over, and that's what the Raiders did.
Esiason to the sidelines and overshoots his man Tim McGee. Lionel Washington on the coverage. But again, Bill Walsh, Esiason protected well.
A lot of time. No question about it. It's and Esiason now has a better feel as to when to get rid of the ball. The first series, everybody was anxious and Esiason held it too long. Now he's unloading it.
The Bengals, the previous times in their history when they started the season winning, the first two games were the 2 years they went on to the Super Bowl, 81 and 88. They won their first 3 games this year, and their last 3. On third down and 8. Complete to the big tight end, Rodney Holman, who has made the Pro Bowl 3 consecutive years. Holman with 40 catches this year. The Bengals insomniac is wide awake here at the Coliseum again today, and a first down at the 33.
Holman was picked up by Ricky Ellison as he released. Ricky's trying to cover him, and Ellison is not a pass defender. He's a great run defender, but they found a way to match the two of them up, and Holman was free immediately.
Says he gets only about 4 hours sleep on a good night. Gets a couple of hours, wakes up. He can tell you all the TV programming around 4:30 a.m. Here's James Brooks trying to get around the corner, and he belted hard as Thomas Benson supports Terry McDaniel.
McDaniel did a beautiful job outside of warding off the wide receiver, warding him off, holding him off, and then releasing from that block and just making the tackle. You'll see Brooks now wants to stretch it. He has to stretch it outside because of Townsend. Now watch McDaniel just right there to make the stop.
You know, it's interesting, Bill. The injuries to the left hand, and his tendency, Brooks, is always to shift the ball to the injured hand. He did it there, even though the logical move would have been to keep it in the right hand away from the tackle. Play action by Boomer. Incomplete to tight end Jim Riggs, number 87. Ricky Ellison was on the coverage for the Raiders.
Scott Davis wasn't fooled a bit. He came off the block, and Ellison couldn't do anything but just get rid of the ball. Now they've been looking for that. They've been looking for that all week. You'll see Davis here come right back to the outside, and he's been trained all week to look out for Esiason coming to the outside, being left-handed, and there's Davis ready to cut him off.
And Kirk Scrapper trying to ward off Davis, and in some ways that's where Anthony Munoz has missed most, because Munoz is so smart in setting up that block so that he gets the outside on his man and keeps him pinned in. And third and long from the shotgun. Esiason finally breaks down. It's Greg Townsend, his second sack, the Raiders' third. That was a coverage sack for the Raider deep defense.
No question about it. Esiason wanted to go way down the field with the ball, and he had to wait for that to happen. So you see Townsend really blocked by two people, Holman staying with him all the way, and then Esiason really brought himself down. He just couldn't find a place to get rid of the ball.
Happy man Townsend in his contract. If he made the Pro Bowl, he did this year for the first time, he can renegotiate his contract. Johnson doesn't get a lot of leg in this, but it takes a good bounce past Tim Brown and out of bounds at the 25-yard line, make it the 24 of the Raiders. 56 yards for Johnson and a timeout. Last drive, 85, Tim McGee of the Bengals knocked down, apparently ruled incidental contact with Lionel Washington, and that really raised the ire of not only McGee, but of Coach Sam Weiss.
Sam was just almost hysterical on the sideline over it, but it doesn't look like Washington purposely made contact. It looked just incidental. And McGee really was slowing down, and Sam just didn't see the complete play, and all he saw was this guy on the ground.
Well, after another long Lee Johnson punt of 56 yards, it's the Raiders at their 24. They had a substantial drive to start this half, and then the interception. Marcus Allen is bulldogged down by Skip McClendon with help from Solomon Wilcox. And Bo Jackson, we understand from O.J. Simpson that Jackson's injury is not a knee or an ankle, but a hip injury. Probably won't return, but not considered serious. Not something that, say, would keep him from playing next week in Buffalo should the Raiders win.
He doesn't look like there's a lot of pain. He just most likely wrenched it as he was pulled down.
Allen way out to the bottom of your screen. Excellent pass receiver. Schrader throws underneath the Horton, the tight end, and it's a first down at the 37. James Francis, the outstanding rookie linebacker, number 50, former basketball and football player at Baylor, made the tackle. He was one of the many great linebackers taken in this year's draft. Number 7 were picked in the first round. He was the 4th taken after Keith McCants, Junior Seau, Chris Singleton of New England, and then the Bengals spent their 12th pick of the first round on this man, and are they happy? Led him in sacks, blocked a field goal, intercepted a pass for a touchdown.
He's actually played better than any of those guys you mentioned.
Led him in tackles as well. With both in this 3 games.
Schrader changing the play.
And gives to Steve Smith a rare opportunity for the big fullback to the 41. He got the big catch, however, in the final game of the season, and it was the touchdown that beat the San Diego Chargers and gave the Raiders the home field in this game.
What was that? 4 catches on the year and 3 touchdowns. As I mentioned earlier, Smith is really sort of the leader, quiet leader of this ball club. You just don't read about him, you don't hear about him, but every play he has a significant role as a blocker. He always has a critical block to make.
Penn State star with D.J. Dozier in their championship year in '86. Schrader hits his tight end again, Horton, a former North Carolina star, at the 40-yard line, and Schrader pulled up just shy of the line of scrimmage. We were watching closely. It appeared he had a yard left when he released the ball.
Again, it was Francis trying to cover Horton to the inside, and Horton had to fight through 2 people, including Zander, to make that play. This is the one thing that Schrader is a completely new football player. By the way, Horton, a former running back, that Rubisky, the offensive coordinator, worked with tight ends, and Terry Rubisky worked with this guy 2 full off seasons, got him to gain 15 pounds through nutrition and weightlifting, and he's one of the more effective tight ends, especially as a receiver in the league.
And complete this time off the hands of Mike Dial. Yeah, that Horton became such a good tight end, he just chased Todd Christensen right over to NBC.
Yeah.
It'll happen. Horton was a number 1 pick of Kansas City as a running back, a star runner with the Tar Heels.
And we have to watch out, Dick, because he could chase Todd Christensen out of NBC. All he has to do is take a couple of voice lessons, which I can help him with.
Don't be so sensitive, Bill. I mean, it's okay.
But Schrader has improved so dramatically. What he's doing is getting back up underneath pass rushers and passing retreat. Now he comes forward to throw the ball.
Allen on 2nd and 10. Picks up 5 yards. Hit from behind. Leon White, 51. Tim Crumrye, 69. In on the play.
Again, Steve Smith right at the point of attack, making the critical block. I'd assume that Marcus and Bo must be good friends with this guy because he's the guy that's springing it.
Marcus Allen is good friends with everyone, is he not? Have you ever seen a better team player that's a star guy than Marcus Allen?
It's class. The one thing he has that O.J. really didn't have is the class.
Boy, you're getting everybody, aren't you? Bob Trumpy's next. Hang on. 3rd down and 5. Underneath to Tim Brown. Hit shy of the first down. A good, solid open field tackle by the rookie Francis that denied the first down. Another 4th and 1 call
well,
for
he's
Art
against
Shell.
the wind this time, Dick. You'd assume that he'll go in there and go for that first down running the ball because
he isn't.
No, he's not.
Field goal unit comes on.
Yeah, this is a tough one because that wind isn't quite what it was, but it's still right in their face.
Jager's longest ever, 50 yards. This one will be 49 into a tough win.
This is what the Bengals want. Now, conceivably, the Raiders will make it, but if they don't, the Bengals, again, are just holding the Raiders off.
A late Bengal on the field. The kick is long enough, and it is good.
That cleared by 5 yards.
Barely turned over. You talk about an end-over-end kick. That took an end. Just one little roll as he knuckles it through with a good pop. Jager gives the Raiders a 10-3 lead with 5:41 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Well, Sam's going to have to come up with his good stuff when we come back.
Of Al Davis to Jager's field goal.
I'm sure he wondered about the call, and I'm sure Jim Otto on Al's left there was wondering, what am I going to say to Al if we miss this?
Hobbling the kickoff is Jennings, and then he breaks up the middle. And the man who returned the kickoff against the 49ers in the Super Bowl for a touchdown is dropped at the 30-yard line by Ron Brown. So, were you surprised by the call on 4th and 1 into the win?
Oh, I was, because that's the one factor that the Bengals have had to have is field position. They haven't been able to get it. And the Raiders were going to give them field position with a missed field goal. But it went through, and it was the final analysis.
That made it right.
They did what they had to do.
Al Davis will be one of the 15 men on the final ballot for the Pro Football Hall of Fame again. Ricky Woods out to the 33-yard line. I think Al feels that he should have been in the Hall of Fame a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, but patience is a virtue. And
well, his entire Raider organization will be in there before he is. Every year I see new names. Kenny Stabler this time. How many guys have made that Hall of Fame that have been developed by Al
7.
and that organization?
Art Shell.
And there'll be more, yeah.
2nd down. Call it 6. Short 6. Big hole for Ricky Woods. And Woods, the 235-pounder from UNLV, has a first down.
Now that
at
was
the 44.
Dick, that was the cutback play that Sam talked to us about before the game, in which Woods would start to his left. And he'll start to his left, but the key is that the right guard will pull and pull Ricky Ellison with him. Paul Jaton will pull to his left, and Ellison keys so quickly he runs himself right out of the play.
Woods with some good yardage today. Now it's Eric Ball relieving him. Canvas in motion, and it's Eric Ball cutting back.
They did it again.
Gains about 4 to the 48-yard line before Mike Harden, 45, can come up from the secondary, along with Tom Benson.
They did it again. They got Ricky Ellison to move, and then they'll break back. They'll start to the left, and then come back to the right. Now, you'll see this, and you'll see this movement by Ellison, and that in itself gets the play started. You see Ricky move, and then come right back in behind him. Notice Benson that was moving but they're getting those linebackers sliding and breaking behind it.
Because the linebackers are keying on the movement of the
Keying
guard.
on those guards.
It's a long 5. And it's ball again into Raider territory at the 47. Harden and Ellison collaborate on the stop. About a yard shy of a first down for Ball, who grew up in Ypsilanti, Michigan. It's a town near Ann Arbor there in southern Michigan. And Ball and Rodney Holman, two fine players in Cincinnati uniform, both from that town, went to the same high school, in fact. Ball migrated from Michigan to UCLA, and Holman went from Ypsilanti down to Tulane, where he starred. Boomer changing his call, or perhaps just making his call. And it's a first down as Ickey Woods plows near the 45-yard line. In fact, because of, as you look at Bruce Reimers cast in a cheerleading role today, because of Montoya, they felt today, Sam Whites, that they had to use some fake calls that Montoya might have told his teammates about, hoping to deceive the Raider defense.
Well, you know, coaches are all paranoid. You're consumed with it. Before long, things begin to haunt you and ghost haunt you. In this sense, very little that Montoya really could help his own defense with. But Sam naturally would think that Montoya could remember every play and every call the Bengals had.
2 minutes to go in the third. It's Woods again. And this is the Ickey Woods of 1988 that's running today in the Coliseum as he gets big yardage to the 37. Eddie Anderson with a tackle. As you know, Elbert Ickey Woods with that sensational rookie year, over 1,000 yards. And then in the second game of 1989, ripped up his knee, and that's why only 94 yards. And then this year, coming back after sitting out the basically first half of the year and producing 6 touchdowns, and perhaps finally really back after 2 years to his outstanding rookie season.
What can tend to happen when you are out and injured and unable to play is you gain weight. Ickey weighs about 245 right now, and he should weigh about 230. So he doesn't have near the stamina or quickness he should have.
Second down and 2 with Eric Ball, the tailback. And it's Ball trying to get outside, and does. Mike Harden gets him at the 30-yard line. Another first down for the Bengals, who are staying on the ground and rushing it well. They've moved downfield now in long field goal range. But Boomer looking for a possible score that could tie it up. 10-3 Raiders, final minute, third quarter.
You know, Sam White has been identified in a sense or personalized as an impetuous, zany, creative, mad professor kind of a guy that is highly excitable and emotional. Some of those things are true, but one thing he's demonstrated now is just the damn toughness it takes to stand in there and play these guys head-to-head with your running game.
Play action. Boomer down the middle to Eddie Brown. And Brown has a first down at the 15-yard line before he's pushed back by Anderson and Terry McDaniel. 16 yards.
They fake the run, which they've been dominating with. You see Boomer fake the run, then come part way out because he had contained man and throw a beautiful ball inside to Brown. So they're just setting it up with that basic running game, then a play pass off of it.
End of the third quarter, that 16-yard play. 10-3 Raiders. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Los Angeles, the Coliseum, Dick Enberg with Bill Walsh. We go to the fourth quarter. The winner will travel to Buffalo for the AFC Championship next year. This is the continuation of an impressive Bengal drive. 8 plays. They've gone 55 yards to a first down at the 16 of Los Angeles, using 7 rushes, and that last play was a pass to Brown.
It's so tough as you get in here because the safeties now can come up and make tackles. They don't have to cover a field.
It's Ickey Woods breaking tackles down to the 11-yard line. Picked up 5 against a team toughest in the league to score a rushing touchdown against the Raiders.
Again, a negative block by Paul Jeton, number 68, the right guard. Now you'll see him block down this way, and then the ball break back behind it. And that's the kind of thing they've been getting away with. The Raider linebackers start one way, and then they break it in behind it. over and over and over.
2nd and 5. And again, it's Woods with a room to run, and he has a first down at the 5. So the Bengals continue to drive the ball on the ground. Alex Gordon acquired this year from the Jets in a trade for cornerback Dennis Price. Number 55 made the tackle. It's 1st and goal.
Ken Moyer does a great job of trapping on this play. Now you'll see him pulling right here and make a big play inside out. A great job. I think that's Robinson that he blocks. What I'm so impressed with is the Bengals are moving the ball inside the 20, running with it, and that is really tough at this point on the field because those safety men don't have to play pass.
Dave Adolph, the defensive coordinator of the Raiders. His team has allowed only 4 rushing touchdowns all year, best in the NFL. Eric Ball can't get outside, and he loses 2. Terry McDaniel made the play.
Well, Ball wanted to get it all on that one play, and he had to make a decision in a 1/10 of a second on where to go. Once he decided to go outside, it was over because that Raider defense was all going in that direction. But at this point, that's really been the only bad play of the drive, if you want to call it that. Now, I know the Raiders have the Bengals have a play pass that Sam's worked on at this point in the field, so we can almost assume that this would be the down for the play pass, 2nd down.
James Brooks and Eric Ball are in the backfield now. Who would throw the pass?
Well, it'll be Boomer.
Just gets off the play. Give to Brooks. Hit in the backfield for another loss. Tom Benson. Third and goal. They've lost just 1 yard. They give progress to the 8-yard line.
Well, now it's the receivers, the receiving group, and Boomer to throw the ball.
Was that a great open field tackle by Benson, who was one of the many Plan Bs acquired by the Raiders the last 2 years. He played at New England. Originally drafted by Atlanta. 3rd and goal, 8-yard line. Touchdown! Underneath it goes to Stanford Jennings. His first call of the game. Jennings, who silently has been on the sidelines, comes in on 3rd down and works his way open. It was Boomer's initial move to buy time, and Jennings with a score and a chance to tie it on this upcoming extra point.
Boomer came outside. He used his quickness and agility to get outside of Townsend because he rarely goes to his right. Now he throws back inside, and I'm not sure who the ball was really thrown to there. I'd have to hope that it was Jennings, but behind him, I didn't get the number, was Eddie Brown, who was wide open, and you could see that developing, but Jennings got between Brown and the ball.
And now an important extra point try by Breach. It's 10-9.
The touchdown rule on the field, we are being reviewed by instant replay.
What could that review be for? Maybe someone upstairs felt it was trapped. Well, let's take a look at it. It appeared to be an apparent catch from our angle, but this is what they're looking at.
Oh, he's got it. Unless they've got an angle. Oh, yeah, he had it all the way. Unless there's an angle on the other side that would see him dropping it. It looked like he had it all the way. Sometimes you wonder about some of these replays. That looks like a catch all the way.
We reset the play clock to 5 seconds.
Tom Dooley is the referee. You see the catch from all angles. Fairly convincing evidence, it would appear. But there have been surprises. And now Breach, under the watchful eye of White, gets it through. Let's go back to the move by Boomer Esiason to elude the rush of Townsend 93.
Townsend is going to play for Boomer to go to his left, being left-handed. Howie Long looks like he jumped 2 feet in the air, but Boomer just timed it just long enough to move outside of Townsend. Beautifully done.
It's tied at 10 with less than 12 minutes to go. The Bengals have tied it at 10, and there's the prototype pro tackle. Anthony Munoz, 10 times a Pro Bowler, congratulating his young replacement, number 76, Kirk Strafford, the free agent from Montana. And now Lee Johnson nails it right out of the end zone on the kickoff, and the Raiders begin at the 20-yard line. Look at that blue sky. All the smog has been blown out by the wind. Temperature near 80 degrees and 90,000 plus tickets sold for this playoff. And the Raiders have found themselves now in a fourth quarter tie game with these tenacious Bengals. Marcus Allen gets around the corner and picks up 12. Bussey made the tackle.
The same name. Steve Smith makes the big block on the outside that Marcus sprung off of. And Smith found a way to just control his man, then turn him at the last second. Marcus knows just where to go with that ball. His instincts in that area are so beautiful. Normally he cuts back. That time he sensed it and broke out where Bo usually runs.
81 yards for Marcus. 14 carries. Bo Jackson apparently through for the day with a hip injury on a long 34-yard run. On first down, Schrader over the middle. Fernandez can't quite pull it in. Well, Bo Jackson probably won't play today, and 4 weeks ago against Cincinnati on this field, he went 88 yards on a tremendous ad-lib reverse. Here it is. They had him pinned in as he tried to roll to his left. As you know, Jackson does most of his good running to the left. Couldn't get around the corner. Decided to go this way. And 88 yards later, only Rod Jones, number 25, would catch him. And that alone was a piece of news that Jones could catch who a man many feels the fastest in football. And Jackson at the 1-yard line nipped him on the heels. 2nd and 10 now as Schrader drifts back. And hit with a blitz, and down he goes for the third time. Carl Zander came through cleanly on the blitz.
Zander waited before he blitzed. He sat there for a second and let the pass protection develop before he started in. Now you'll see him right here, and he's going to wait before he goes. He'll sit there. Now here he comes, and there isn't going to be anybody there to block him. So it was a timed blitz against the forward pass.
Zander from Tennessee still makes his home in Knoxville, where he sells real estate in the offseason. Less than 11 minutes to go, and now Schrader faces a 3rd down 20. Good protection. And a great catch by Tim Brown. First down at the 48-yard line. Needed 20, got 26.
Beautiful throw by Schrader. Brown's going to come down and get on the outside of Thomas, then break back in with a lot of hand fighting. But look at the throw. The throw had to be just right, because it had it been short, Thomas would have been going the other way with the ball.
A big 3rd down and long throw to Brown, who's had good luck against the Bengals. You see there in the game in December, he had a couple of touchdown catches against the Cincinnati defense, and that's playing really in a limited role, basically 3rd down and long situations.
There's a man down on the Raider side of the bench here. I can't see it, Dick, but I saw the doctor and trainer come running over from the Bengals side.
Might be, yes, it's David Fulcher, the top hitting safety and Pro Bowler for Cincinnati. We'll take this time out. Magnificent picture, isn't it? This historic Coliseum filled with 90,000 fans first time. Marcus Allen drives into Bengal territory, and carrying 2 men with him, Bussey and Walker, is to the 45-yard line. David Fulcher, they were working on the back of his right leg. There it is. Do not know how serious.
Can you believe a 240-pound safety man in this day and age? Fulcher is one of the great players, and really the prototype of the new position in football is so important. The safeties that can come up and make the big hits. So this guy at 240 pounds plays the deep middle part of the time.
He's okay, and he's back in the lineup now. Steve Smith with a call. Close to a first down at the 32 of Cincinnati. Tim Crumry reversing to make the tackle, number 69. He, of course, the man who fractured his leg in the Super Bowl. With
Bo out, they're going to alternate, I'm sure. Smith and, of course, Marcus Allen. But Smith is excellent late in a game because he still has that strength, and he can still break the tackles inside.
Did you ever use a back that averaged 12.5 yards plus again per carry?
12.5 a game.
It is a first down. 10-10 the score. 9 minutes to go. Fourth quarter. Lots of time for Schrader, going for Horton. Horton has it. Touchdown. Given up after a failure as a running back and a #1 pick in Kansas City, but one of the many Raider projects, converted to tight end, much as Todd Christensen, a running back, was converted to tight end, and his big moment now has given the Raiders the lead on a 41-yard play. Here's Jagers, try for point, and it is 17-10 Los Angeles.
A beautiful throw and a beautiful pass pattern. Horton's going to break into the flat and then circle up the field. And it's a beautiful throw right over the top and a great catch. Now that's the kind of thing that you rarely see done in the NFL, is a tight end getting deep down the sideline and the ball actually getting there accurately. Beautifully done, and Schrader's got to take a lot of pride in that one.
Schrader to Horton, 41 yards and the lead. Well, the Raiders, through their years under Al Davis, always have enjoyed great tight ends, touchdown catching Raymond Chester and Dave Casper and Todd Christensen. Ethan Horton trying to follow in that legacy. Perhaps his biggest as a Raider, 41 yards with less than 9 minutes to go, and the Raiders lead 17-10. The kick to Stanford Jennings. And Jennings dances his way to the 32-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown. A great rainbow throw by Schrader.
Horton went in motion. He'll come to this side of the field and start up the field, and it'll end up with White trying to cover him, a linebacker. So you'll see him come across, and the coverage is dropped by the safety, Bussey, and White suddenly ends up with him going down the field, and it's a beautiful throw and catch. Just a beautiful job. And it's so rarely done that it's good to draw that play up, but you rarely can make it work.
4 catches for Horton and his 4th touchdown of the year. And now the Bengals, plenty of time, but the crowd into it now for the Raiders. Ickey Woods smothered after a yard.
The Bengals are, of course, this is the test all season from the first day of training camp, all the mini camps, everything, right down to one final drive for the Bengals at this point. And Sam's going to have to throw the ball on this down. He can't take a chance on just a 3rd down pass completion to sustain this drive. He's got to throw now.
McGee with 1 catch, no yards to the right. Eddie Brown to the left has only 2 catches. Coleman's the man that Homer likes to go to. Big tight end is on the left side. Brooks in motion. Homer scrambling. Caught from behind, just shy of a first down at the 39. Scott Davis and Tom Benson with a tackle.
I'll tell you, Dick, Kick Stratford, that left tackle, that young guy that's playing his first game is doing better than anyone could ever think he could do against a guy like Davis. And Ken Moyer right next to him, a free agent guard who's been waived twice. These guys are playing their hearts out.
Stratford said he went to the combine, the pro combine. They looked at his legs and said, you don't belong here as a tackle. Maybe you're a tight end. He said, but I can't catch the ball. He's got very thin, spindly legs, but very quick on his feet. Boomer with a sneak and a first down at the 43.
Now that was well done. Boomer started, he hesitated. He stepped left, then fought right through a little slot on the right. That was by design. The backs went left. Boomer snuck to his right. Well, you'll see Boomer go back to the right side after the backs start to the left. You see him that way, then come right back inside. And Ellison, again, started over for those backs.
6.5 minutes remain, fourth quarter. The Raiders 17, the Bengals 10. Play action. Townsend gets Boomer. Everyone else in black had gone for the fake and were moving to the far sidelines, but Townsend played his area, and that a mighty big defensive play.
Townsend will come up the field unblocked, as by design. They thought he would go with the fake. And Boomer tried to use that same move he'd used earlier, and Townsend wouldn't buy it.
4 Raiders sacks today, 3 by Townsend, who led them on the season with 12.5. Now on second and long. Almost intercepted by Eddie Anderson as that pass really floated on its way to McGee. And Anderson injured on the play. McGee was open, but the pass took forever to get there.
Looks like that pass was tipped in the line of scrimmage somewhere.
As they attend, Eddie Anderson will take this break. 5:48 left. 5:48 to go. 3rd and 25 for Cincinnati. Greg Townsend's 15-yard sack of Esiason destroying this drive. Jennings was open, but incomplete.
Well, they just want to get the drive over with, the Bengals do. Just get it over with, pump the ball, use their timeouts if necessary, and get it back one more time. So the Raiders, Art Shell's going to have his team blast him, as he calls it, and smash him, as he calls it, go right after him with a running game. The Bengals are going to have to try to get it back using timeouts and defenses where they're going to have to gamble to stop the run.
Lee Johnson has punted very well all day, and he lifts another good one toward Tim Brown to the 24. Brown hit at the 30-yard line. And a timeout with 5:32 remaining in the final quarter. From San Francisco to Saudi Arabia, we welcome you back to the Coliseum, and in Los Angeles, you fans able to watch because Bo Jackson and Nike, with some clever marketing, said, hey, we'll pick up the final 6,000 tickets so that the fans here in Los Angeles would not be blacked out. From the 30-yard line, the Raiders just trying to kill the final 5.5 minutes and then pack up for Buffalo. And Marcus Allen gets a big 8 yards on first down. And he now is over 90 yards on the day as he's averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. Fulcher made the tackle.
A mistake the Bengals can make, and it looked like they began to make it on that play, is go for the ball dig and try to pull it out of there and get a fumble. And as the process of doing it, they let Marcus get 3 and 4 and 5 extra yards, and so the Raiders can just run the clock down or out. So the Bengals aren't ready to have to do that. They've got to meet this ball carrier head on. Don't worry about fumbles. Stop them. Stop them from that first down.
In the final 5 minutes now, the clock will stop on out-of-bounds plays. Raiders using the full 45. Gives to Steve Smith, and it's a first down across the 40-yard line. And now Sam Weiss has to think about spending those 3 timeouts available to him. 4.5 minutes to go. They're already in the huddle, well into the huddle, and on the play clock, 25 seconds still remain. So that 45-second rule, I know there's been some consideration in the final minutes of games to reload that at a shorter price because 45 seems a long time to kill. But the Bengals do not use a timeout. Less than 4 minutes to go now. Allen. Big to the 39-yard line. Marcus Allen.
Steve Wright, Max Montoya pulling and trapping a beautifully blocked play. Rory Graves came right off the line on Grant and knocked him off the ball. And this is one of the problems. The Bengals want that ball back so badly. You see Graves, you see Montoya, and there's Steve Smith again, coming right through the line of scrimmage.
Marcus Allen with 116 yards, 20 on that run. And it was Marcus Allen that was the star the last time the Raiders won a playoff game. That was the Super Bowl in Tampa some 6 years ago. And Allen at the time gained 191 yards in that Super Bowl win against the Redskins and came out at the end of the game. And he said, at the time, didn't think anything about it. He said, let Greg Pruitt go in. He's never been in a Super Bowl. Let him carry the ball. The veteran runner they had acquired from the Cleveland Browns. He said, I thought I'd be back next year. We had such a good team. He said, if I'd have known that long, I wouldn't have been so unselfish. But Tampa Bay is the site again for the Super Bowl and is a deja vu for Cousins, the 80 gold medalists and more. It's an elegant hour of the greatest figure skaters at 8 o'clock next Friday night on NBC. First down. And Allen wrapped up by Tim Crumrye. Crumrye's memories of Super Bowl not so pleasant, as we documented earlier. And there the clock stopped by Sam Weiss. So Weiss spends his first time out, 3:37 left. The Raiders with the ball and a big 7-point lead. End of a beautiful Sunday afternoon weather-wise in Los Angeles, and the Raiders running against one of the poor rush defenses in the league. Apparently a key to their lead at 17-10 and to their running out the clock here at the end of the game. Bo Jackson carried 6 times for 77 yards before injured. You see the HAD F-14. He loves jet airplanes, fighter airplanes. He said that that's the one who wished beyond athletics that he would like most of all to be able to fly a jet fighter. He has the right stuff. Schrader. Smith breaks a tackle by Fulcher and gains 3 more down to the 33. Clock is running, and at this point, no timeout by Weiss, and now it is stopped at the 3:24 mark. That would be the second Bengal timeout.
We keep saying this is the play of the game, but this is the play of the game. If the Raiders can get a first down here, then they're going to be able to run the clock down to 0 or kick a field goal.
Well, you saw the correct information there. That is Bengals' last timeout. Underdogs for good reason on the road where home teams seem to prevail so successfully in the playoffs. His team injured key players, Brooks, Reimers, Munoz, outstanding players. Then the flu hits his team. He's kept them close at 17-10, but now out of timeouts and a 3rd and 4, still long field goal range. So it's a big play for the defense with 3:24 left.
You've got to figure Marcus is going to carry the ball. There it is.
He does, and he's got a first down and more. Marcus Allen all the way to the 15. What a run.
Just again, Max Montoya and Steve Smith and Steve Wright pull. First Montoya strap. There's Wright turning back. Now look at this guy's balance. What a clutch player. Of all the people in football, he's the guy you'd like to see with the ball to take time off the clock and to finish somebody off.
135 yards, his best rushing game of the season. Of course, he's been sharing that the latter part of the year. And Max Montoya, what sweet revenge, throwing a key block against his former teammates. Allen again, no way to stop the clock for the Bengals, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Montoya coming to Los Angeles, surprisingly to Cincinnati. He has a restaurant in the Cincinnati area. His 2 children go to school there. He loves Cincinnati, still lives there, will go back to Cincinnati. The Bengals didn't figure he'd go plan B, but the dollars were too big, and the Raiders put up a 6-figure increase in his salary. He said, I had to come here.
It's amazing. He's from Los Angeles. A very attractive place to live, but he wants to live forever and bring his family up in Cincinnati. Says the schools are great, the atmosphere is great, and you hate to see him leave his parent team.
There's the 2-minute timeout. No timeouts left for Cincinnati, and the Raiders with the ball at the 15-yard line, Bengal territory, and a touchdown lead. And this large crowd, the largest of the entire National Football League season, 92,035 in attendance, and most of them supporting the hometown Raiders are already looking to next Sunday in a Raider-Buffalo rematch. Remember, they played earlier in the year. The Raiders led by 10 points in the fourth quarter when the Bills pulled one of their many fourth-quarter comebacks, scored 24 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to win at 38-24.
That would be a great matchup, and I'd have to assume that'll be the matchup. The only problem with the Raiders is they just don't get on the scoreboard enough. They execute well. The design of what they do is good. Their players play beautifully, but they just don't get on a scoreboard, and that would worry me with them going in against the Bills, because the Bills are really scoring.
Meanwhile, the Bengals' very slim hopes come down to 2 minutes, second down and 10, and if Schrader does no more than just protect the ball, he can almost consume the necessary time with that 45-second rule.
Now's the time to go for the ball. That's all. The only hope there is. Somehow wrench the ball away.
Steve Smith. And the big guy from Penn State just embracing, hovering around that football, brought down by Fulcher. And the clock ticks away.
Well, Sam Weiss brought this team in with their foot to the floor. I mean, they had the throttle all the way down, and they had an excellent game plan. They played their hearts out. They've had a fine year, and to come in here with all those disadvantages and problems that have cropped up, this guy has done a masterful job with his team, as has Boomer and the entire team.
Tim Crumry wearing the wounds of this difficult play. O.J. Simpson is endeavoring to locate Bo Jackson. We'll get a word from him prior to the Raiders going back in the locker room, and the Raiders use a timeout at the 1:12 mark. The play clock is at 25 seconds. It's an interesting timeout. I would guess that Schrader just wants to be certain no mistake is made on this play call, that he's going to get it firsthand from Art Shell, the youngest head coach in the National Football League, and his young coordinator you see on the left, Terry Robisky. They will indeed have a chance to wrap up the day's play with Bob Costas and company on NFL Live. There's one of the young Raider fans, perhaps a son of one of the Raider players.
He's with Bo Jackson. That could be
one of Bo's sons. There is number 34, whose love for children is quite apparent. Those of you who have read his book, doesn't really have a relationship, or didn't, with his father. He wants most of all, when you talk about all of his athletic prowess, what he always brings forth first in conversation is his desire, ultimately, most importantly, to be a good father. Those are, we understand, both of Bo's young children, and you can't see in the periphery, but there are 50 agents waiting to sign them up. So with 1:12 to go, it's Marcus. Ooh, slips at the 8-yard line. That'll be shy of the first down, third down. The clock runs to the 1-minute mark.
Oh, are we going to get a field goal? They'll let it run down. They can kick it and put it away. The only problem, of course, with the field goal is the block.
The clock, game clock at 47:25 on the play clock, so that's a 22-second difference, so they'll let it run down to the 22-second mark. And the Bengals, Sam Weiss, wondering, as we are, if indeed Archell will flirt with possible disaster on a field goal block.
The Raiders this year, about the second half of the year, have really found a way to take advantage of all of that talent, from Tim Brown to Ethan Horton, Willie Galt, Hernandez, the entire group, Steve Smith, all the talented players they're taking full advantage of now. What an array of talent.
Raiders call a timeout that gives us the opportunity to announce Ronald McDonald Children's Charities Player of the Game, Marcus Allen of the Los Angeles Raiders. McDonald's and NBC donate $5,000 on behalf of Allen and the LA Raiders to Ronald McDonald Children's Charities, help to give kids a better tomorrow. Allen with 140 yards rushing. A big game player, as you see Art Shell and Mervyn Fernandez. And there is the man, Marcus. Grew up near here. San Diego, was an outstanding high school quarterback down there. And then, of course, a Heisman Award winner. And now, Jaeger will try the short field goal of 25 yards. They're going to be shuffling off to Buffalo. 20-10, Los Angeles. And we'll have that for you. The Bills and the Raiders. Bills won in the regular season, although the Raiders had the lead and were driving for a possible tying touchdown late when Nate Odom stole the ball. Remember that pass on the sidelines to Willie Gault? Stole it and raced for a touchdown. And the Bills went off to a 38-24 win. Well, Garrett and Nicholas, the two sons of Bo Jackson, enjoying Pop's leisure time on this Sunday afternoon. Apparent injury, not serious, a hip injury that sidelined in the second half, but one would have to guess Bo Jackson will be ready to play against Buffalo on Sunday. And if not, the man who had full duty today, Marcus Allen, was absolutely outstanding. Jennings will run it out and hit down at the 12-yard line with 15 seconds to go. And for the fans in Cincinnati of the Bengals and Boomer and Sam White, a team that battled all year. They had that tough 5-game road trip. They started well, had some downtime, won their last 3 very impressively at home against Houston last week. White certainly is the creative man in the game, the innovator who's always has something special, and one can.
And he's a great motivator, too, Jack. He had this team ready. And this team was outgunned all the way. As we said before the broadcast, at virtually every position, the Raiders had them outgunned. And some of the Raider backups were superior players to the Bengals.
Incomplete on the sidelines to Tim McGee. 10 seconds to go. Reminder tonight on NBC and NBC News Special. Gary Ball gets the final call of the game. Final seconds, and congratulations to the LA Raiders. Sam Weiss's Bengals lose to Art Shell's Raiders 20-10. It'll be Buffalo and the Raiders with a chance for the Super Bowl. O.J.?
Yeah, I'm down here with Bo Jackson. Bo, you kind of hurt yourself today. You were running real well. Can you tell me the nature of the injury?
Minor. I will play next Sunday.
You think you'll be there next Sunday? You had an opportunity to watch yesterday's game. Have you ever had the occasion to play in that type of weather, and how do you think you'll do?
I played in it twice. Once against the Bills and once against the Giants. So I'm looking forward to it. It's always nice to go up there and play against those guys. We just got to go up and try to play some intense football and try to get a win. Doesn't matter how we do it. We just got to go up and try to win.
Is the injury a hip? Is it a pull, or do you have a hip pointer?
It's a slight hip pointer. So it's but it's really not that bad.
All right, Bo. Good luck to you. See you next week in Buffalo.
Boy, a couple of greats in that picture. Heisman Simpson, along with Bo Jackson, who says he'll be ready for Buffalo. And O.J. Simpson, of course, he has it in his contract. He only talks to Heisman winners. And with that in mind, he is with Marcus Allen.
Yeah, I'm down here with a guy that was back to his old Heisman form today. Marcus, how did you feel when you knew Bo was out of the game and looked like the weight was on your shoulders?
Well, I didn't feel any pressure, O.J. I think the golf crisis, that's pressure. This is something I've been doing for a long time, and it's unfortunate they got hurt. Hopefully he'll be back next week, but I just want to do the job.
Is this particularly gratifying after the tough time you had early in the year, all the speculation that you might get traded? Here we are in what amounts to nearly a championship game, and your team needed you, and you were able to go out and get 140 yards.
Well, no question about it, but to be honest with you, I didn't think I was going to get traded, and I just enjoy the attention, so it's important that we won, and I'm happy for everybody here, the team, organization, the fans. This is a big game for us, O.J.
Now, you watched the Bills play yesterday. What's your assessment of that team and the weather? How do you think you're going to be able to fare in that type of weather?
Well, we're going to find some way to win. I think we have that character. We have the guys that are willing to lay it on the line, and I think it's important regardless of the conditions. They beat us last time, and they're a good team. They're an exceptional team, and we're going to have to play our best game.
When you say you're going to have to play your best game, you had a chance to play them last time. What was it they were able to do to stop you? You started off well, you had a little lead, and in the third quarter, fourth quarter, they took the game from you.
Well, they got the fans behind them, the momentum after a couple of special teams play. That really hurt us, and we learned a valuable lesson. We treated that game as a friend. We learned from it, and I think we're going to improve.
Well, good luck. Bring your long johns. I'll see you in Buffalo next week. Back to you, Jay.
Yeah, the Raiders' all-time rusher, Marcus Allen, the MVP of Super Bowl 18 against the Redskins. We go to Bob Costas in New York as we once again appreciate the elegance and the grace and the style of one of the game's classiest players, Marcus Allen.